So I'm here in my kitchen with Lily, my eldest. We are going to make mimosa orange slices, which is brand new to me. This is Lily's special thing. You may have seen them on my Instagram whenever we have a family party. This is her party piece. So I am dying to know how you make these really special orange jellies.
Okay, so what we do is we're making an orange and Prosecco jelly, but we use the orange shells as the jelly mould.
Cool.
So then that's how you then when you slice them, you get the actual slices and segments of jelly.
Real orange, brilliant.
So what we have to do first is cut the oranges this way. Right. I guess like you would, that's the normal way, isn't it, of cutting the orange?
No, well, it depends. We cut it like a grapefruit, then you cut it the other way. So you cut it that way. Okay, so that you can then cut it into segments.
So that, exactly, if you were segmenting it. And then the easiest, we need to remove all of the flesh, but whilst preserving the skin completely intact in a whole.
Let me grab a little pair of scissors.
Yeah.
And then I can do one as well.
Yeah, so the best thing to do is to snip either end where it's kind of held in place by the core.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. I have literally never done this before.
No.
I just usually let you get on with it. And then what? And then go all the way around?
Well, then you might want to get your fingers or a teaspoon involved.
Okay. And then just wiggle it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And it'll be going into this bowl.
Okay. And then do you presumably keep the orange bits?
Yes. So because this is a mimosa cocktail, you can do this with any kind of cocktail recipe. We'll be keeping these orange segments to make the orange juice, because mimosa is half orange juice and half champagne, or today we're using Prosecco.
Prosecco, brilliant. Okay, so I've lifted that out. Look at that.
Oh my gosh, I've never done it in one piece before.
Well, hello.
Well done. Yeah, so just pop them in there. And then you put this half, I'll swap you.
Okay.
This half goes in a muffin tray or fairy cake tray, like so, to hold it upright. And then we're going to fill it with jelly. And then whilst the jelly sets, it will sit in the tray so it doesn't spill anywhere. Okay.
So could you do these with like lemons or limes or grapefruit?
Yes, my favourite one to do actually is a mojito in lime wedges. Yeah.
Okay, so that's another one.
That's another one. Gosh, well done. You are good at this.
Oh, well, you know, just give it to an expert. You got your genes from somewhere, you have to remember.
Exactly, yes, that's true. That's true.
Did that cut through all the way? I think this might need a bit of a snip.
Oh no, I hadn't snipped that one.
Oh, you haven't snipped it? Oh,
sorry.
Okay. So snip the ends. That obviously shows that's really important to do that. Because that is the bit, isn't it, that holds the orange together?
It is, yeah. And that's...
Okay.
Excellent. So while you do that, I am going to...
Oh yeah. Squirted it in my eye.
Yeah, it's a hazard. And we probably should be wearing aprons because it does kind of squirt everywhere.
Okay, we did wash our hands though.
We did.
Oh, that stings.
You okay?
Yes, I'm all right. I'll just cry.
Whilst you do that, I'm going to start soaking the gelatin. I'm using leaf gelatin. You can get powdered gelatin or vegetarian gelatin or whatever you want to use, and just follow their instructions accordingly. But this is pork leaf gelatin. And normally 4 leaves of gelatin sets 1 pint, or like 550 mils of liquid approximately. But when you're dealing with alcohol, you need extra gelatin.
Okay, interesting, because it's half alcohol and half juice.
Yes. So when I'm setting jelly that's very high in spirits or very high in alcohol, I will double it. So I'll use 8 leaves of gelatin instead of 4. Okay. When I'm setting something that's a bit softer, I will only use 1.5. So instead of using 4 bits of gelatin today, I'm going to use 6.
Okay, cool.
So what we do with that is we pop them in the pan.
And of course you don't have to have alcohol, do you? If you're doing this like for a kid's party.
No.
You can do it all with juice?
You could do it all with juice. And actually at New Year, was it New Year? Or one of the recent family only gatherings that we've had in the lockdown. I did these for the family. And then
for the youngest
member had orange. Actually, he had satsuma slices.
Oh, cute.
Covered in edible glitter.
Oh, fabulous.
So as you can see here, this is the gelatin soaking, and what we're waiting for is it to become a slightly more rubbery texture. It normally takes about 5 minutes. So we'll just leave that there to...
so that just sort of melts, does it?
Yeah, so we soak it and then melt it.
But you can get vegetarian jelly, can't you, if you didn't want to, you know, or gelatin rather.
Yes, I believe
Yeah.
so. Yes.
Yeah,
I believe so.
I'm sure I've seen it.
If
you want to do veggie jellies.
Yes, exactly.
I quite fancy doing it with like pomegranate juice because I really like the flavour and the colour because it's bright red.
Yes.
That would be really nice.
And also a similar one that I did for Brella's birthday was a vodka sunrise, which is orange juice, vodka and grenadine, but I layered it. So I did one layer of jelly in the bottom of the orange that had grenadine in it, so it was pink.
Yeah.
And then let that set, and then did another layer on top that was orange. So you had a two-tone jelly.
Cool. So just like you do any normal layered jelly, you just pour it into the bottom, let it set.
Yeah, and then just do the next one.
And then the next layer.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
The only thing that you need to remember when using alcohol is that you will need slightly more gelatin.
More gelatin. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So once you've done all your
So once you've done all of
then
that,
what?
well, what I like to
You're
do.
covered in bits of.
Oh yeah, you are. What I like
Teach
to
me
do
not to wear an apron.
is work out how much liquid I'm going to use. I'd already done it, so that's why I knew I needed 6 leaves of gelatin.
Okay.
But what I would do is fill up one of the shells that I'm using, or if I'm using a jelly mold or something else, I'll fill it up, fill one of them up, and measure
Oh, clever. Let's wash my
how
hands.
much it is. This is 100 ml, so we know that we need 600 mils of liquid to fill these 6 orange slices. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm just dabbing myself. It will be fine. It will be fine. Apologies, that's entirely my fault for not wearing an apron. Okay, so now what?
Now we mash the orange.
Right, I'm going to put an apron on.
Would you like to bring me one, please?
I will bring you one. Let me bring you. I'll bring you a pink one to match your hair.
Excellent, thank you.
Okay. So
I mean, you could use an orange juice if you didn't want to bother with all of this, but this uses the whole orange, so it's not going to waste. Or you could just refrigerate it and eat it later and use orange juice.
Okay.
But I've always used these.
Fresh. Yeah.
So now normally my ones are a bit more squished up than your perfectly
My
removed.
perfectly formed
Yours are
orange
perfectly
balls. So what do we have to do now? We have to chop them up, maybe?
Yeah, exactly. Chop them up, segment them up, mash them up,
Okay.
because we're trying to get all the juice out of them.
Oh yeah.
But we're going to push it through a sieve so that we don't get the pulp. Because
Okay.
I find I have done it where I've just blitzed it up before in like a food
But you
blender.
could just juice these. Could you? Well, I suppose you've got to get the shells.
The problem
haven't
is
you?
preserving the shells.
You've got to get the shells. Got
Yeah.
you. Okay, so you've got to take the fruit out anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
Got you.
So I have done it before where I've tried blending it all up, and unfortunately it just made them taste quite bitty because it had all the pith in it. So I find trying to mash them and then pass them through a sieve gives you the best end result.
Okay. So what are you going to do now? Mash them?
Now mash them.
Me?
Yes. With a potato masher.
Okay. Oh, that is actually quite hard. Oh yeah,
You
but the
can
juice
mash
is
it-
coming out.
Yeah, the juice comes out.
Yeah.
It doesn't require too much.
Mhm.
I'm just going to check on our gelatin.
Okay.
So our gelatin has nicely soaked, and actually because it's been on the agar, it's slightly melted.
Okay. Oh yeah, this is all getting really nice and juicy.
Excellent.
So then what? Then you sieve the juice from this?
Yes.
Okay.
Whilst you're doing that, I'm melting this gelatin just a little bit, because you have to add any liquid that you add when you're making a jelly using gelatin like this. You need the leaves to actually melt before you add your liquid to it. So these are nearly melted, and then we'll keep it warm so it stays melted.
Okay, I reckon that is all pretty good. Can you
Okay.
see that? That's all kind of
That's all juiced
got
up.
the juice there. So now we're going to sieve that, yeah?
Yeah, so we know that we need to make 600 mils of liquid, and a mimosa is half and half. So we need 300 mils
300 mils of juice.
of orange juice. I like to use a ladle.
Ooh.
Okay.
So just
Yeah.
sieve it through. But
Yeah.
you're going to. Why don't you hold the sieve?
And then you can.
And I can maybe pour it. I think. Is that going to?
Yeah.
If you've got somebody. assisting you.
Yes, that makes it much easier.
Oops. Because then you can kind of squeeze. Oops. Squeeze the. It's making the most disgusting noise. Okay. So how much more do we need?
We need another 150.
Okay, a bit more mashing maybe.
Or what you can do is mash it in the sieve.
Okay.
So then the liquid goes straight through. So just like so.
Yeah, you've done this before, haven't you?
I've done this before, yes.
Experience over age, I have to say in this case. So what are we looking for? 300 mils?
300 mils, we're at 200.
Okay, gotta keep going. I guess you could top it up with...
Exactly, you can completely
top
it up with bottle juice or orange juice.
Or could we mix it? I know, not for making mimosa, I guess.
Yeah, not if you're specifically making a mimosa, but you know, world is your oyster. Put any flavours in.
Nice. How are we going on there? That's 200.
That's
I'd like to
200.
throw a bit of pomegranate. Oh, hang on. No, I was going to say we could throw in some pomegranate, but there's a bit more juice there.
And
there's more juicy bits.
Oops, I think you've overfilled this.
Sorry. It's the assistants, you know, you just can't get the assistants.
You can't get the assistants these days, no.
Let me give it a squish.
Oh yeah, I was trying to remove the ladle for you.
It's
Okay,
very
50
squishy.
mils left.
50 mils left. What should we do? Should we top it up with pomegranate?
You're obsessed.
I am obsessed. Well, I like pomegranate. It's really good for you.
Okay, you can top up with pomegranate.
Okay, I'm sure I've got some in the fridge. Yeah, luckily I have some pomegranate juice. So let's make that up to 300. It's only a little splash.
It's only a little splash, yeah.
So it looks like blood orange actually, doesn't it, that colour? Fab.
Yes, it does.
Okay, now what?
Now we top it up with Prosecco.
Excellent. It's getting better. I'm just going to get a cloth.
Oh, yes. You don't want it to kind of fizz up when you're pouring it in, so you want to pour quite gently and at an angle, like they do at fancy parties.
That's literally half and half. Yeah, half juice.
But it's not, because you've come along and put your pomegranate juice
Well,
in
I
it.
know, but I mean half juice, half Prosecco.
Yes.
Oh, can you hear it fizzing? Sounds really good.
So I'm just taking it up.
Could you use white wine? Or does it have to be fizzy?
No, it doesn't have to be fizzy. You could probably use a light white wine.
Mm-hmm.
Because once it's jellified? Once it's set, you kind of lose
jellified,
all
that's a good word.
you lose all of the bubbles anyway.
So now what?
So now this is our melted gelatin,
Mm-hmm.
and what we need to do is keep this on a low heat. You want to make sure your melted gelatin doesn't burn or get too hot. We're going to keep it on a really low heat.
Okay.
Because once we add this cold liquid, it will start to set and it forms little gelatin lumps in it, which we don't want.
Okay.
So
we keep stirring it.
we keep stirring it and we pour it in. Sometimes I ladle this in as well, actually, really gently, so that you don't get. I mean, you can just whack it all in, but then you'll be waiting for ages for the fizz to go down.
Okay.
So we just pour it in really gently.
A bit like making a roux.
I guess so, yeah. And just making sure, like stirring it really well, making sure that there's no gelatin stuck to the bottom of the pan, or that's forming any lumps anywhere.
I am so looking forward to this. And they're kind of almost healthy.
Oh, totally.
They're full of vitamins.
They're full of vitamins. And it's one of your 5 a day. You won't get scurvy.
No, we won't get scurvy. I don't know of any danger in this house of getting scurvy.
So you don't need to leave that on for very long. You just want to warm the liquid slightly so that the gelatin doesn't set in the pan. Obviously, and even more so if you're working with spirits, making a cocktail, you want to be careful not to make it too hot because
you'll burn the alcohol.
The alcohol off, exactly. Where's my beloved ladle?
Your ladle is here.
Excellent. So this is where we need our ladle. I'm just going to rinse it off so we don't get bits of orange.
Actually, you can barely tell there's any pomegranate juice in there. It's looking it's just like a really pretty pinky orange colour. I think it looks fab.
Okay, excellent. So then, if you want to, you just ladle them into each one.
Okay.
So you're just using these as a jelly mould, basically.
And there should be enough, presumably
there
it should
should
just
be.
about make the right amount.
I always find that because of the little bit of liquid that you soak the gelatin leaves in at the beginning, that it actually makes just a fraction more than you need, which is perfect. So I also, I either fill these up or get another jelly mould.
Okay, make a separate one.
Just a little separate one so it doesn't go to waste.
Great.
But I'd
Wish you
rather
could
these
smell it. It smells really good.
slightly over than slightly under. So yes, where these ones are low, you want to take them as far up to the
Right
line
up
as
to the
you
top.
dare. Yeah.
Okay.
When they're set, you can always trim rind off with scissors if they're too low. But it's best to get them right up to the top.
Okay. How's that one? Yeah, straighten up a bit. I think we're going to be all right, actually.
I think so. We won't need.
I think just put these last few little bits
Excellent.
in here. Look at that, perfect.
That's
there you
perfect.
go, 6 orange jellies.
And then it sets.
Now what?
We replace it.
Aha!
Oh yes.
Oh, now it's set. So now you put it in the fridge?
You put it in the fridge. You put it in the fridge.
Carrying it very carefully.
Very carefully to the fridge or pantry if you're lucky enough to have one, or
It's a cold place, basically.
Yeah.
And
Window
how long?
ledge.
Okay.
These will probably set in a couple of hours.
Okay. Don't follow me with the camera. I'm going to spill it. And I'm actually going to magically swap it with...
Our Blue Peter ones.
Ta-da! These are some we made earlier.
made
Well, Lily
earlier.
made earlier. I didn't have anything to do with these.
No.
So, as
Here
you
we
can
go.
see, because they're bright orange.
Yes, so these are just orange and
Oh, look at that, little flabby jellies.
little, yeah, so you want to make sure that
And that was
they're-
your leftover
That was
bit,
my
it?
leftover bit. That's just in a jelly mould. And what you want to make sure is that nothing comes away. None of the jelly comes away from your finger when you tap it, or
Okay.
when it's wobbled, that it's not like excessively wobbling.
So could you hold it upside down?
Yeah.
Could you really?
Yeah. Yeah. I said yes with such confidence, and then I thought, oh gosh, what if it doesn't? But yes, apparently you can.
Great. So now what?
So now, let's get ourselves a fresh chopping board.
Okay.
And then I find that either a really, really, really sharp knife, but we don't have a sharp enough knife.
Are you dissing my knives?
Yes, majorly. You should hear my husband talk about your knives.
Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They just get used by a lot of people all the time who don't sharpen them.
Yeah. So, unless you have an uber sharp fancy knife, a bread knife is the next best thing.
Okay.
And some hot water.
I have your hot water here.
Thank you. Because gelatin melts, so we want it to. It helps cut through the jelly smoothly. So, I find the easiest way to do it is to cut straight down the middle first. And what you want to do is support the points where you're cutting with your fingers and just gently go back and forth until you hit the jelly. And then it's kind of like just one big slice.
Wow, look at that. That's fab. And then you cut that in half
And
again.
then you cut this in half again. This
Okay.
cut is slightly harder than the initial one.
I'm going to have a go at that.
And you can, hopefully, if it's set properly, because it's jelly, you can actually, doesn't matter if it stretches too much.
Look at that. Fabulous. Oops.
Oops, that one has.
That one has a little bit.
Oh, but that's so
fine.
fine, actually.
Yeah,
We can
that's
stack them
fine.
up. So
Yeah.
that is once what you've cut them all, that's what they'll be like. And
Look
they'll be
at
like
that.
alcoholic
Oh, love that.
orange
Can I have
slices.
a
Yeah.
go? Okay, so I'm just going to get my knife
Yeah.
hot in hot water.
Yep.
This is a first. Okay, just
And then wipe it on your apron.
wipe it on my clean apron. And then hold it down and then...
Yeah, really support those sides. And then big cut across the
Well,
bottom.
hey.
There we go. That was great.
And then let me see. I don't know, how thin do you want to go? I mean, you could just do them like that.
Yes, you can just do it like that. I always do them in quarters. So I do the second cut.
And when do you eat these?
After you can either serve them in place or with cocktails.
So cool. Little cocktail jellies. Don't they look fun? They look like they're alive.
They do, don't they? Where it's really thin.
Shall I try one?
Yeah, please do.
Ooh, that is rather good.
It is rather
I
good.
don't know the kids have them.
No.
Definitely a grown-up jelly. Great. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You are most
We
welcome.
will put all the details, the recipe and the how-to in the link below. Hope you enjoy them as much as I am. Great, Lil. Thank you, darling.
You're welcome. Bye.
Yum.